just as soon as Rock Island Line hit #1. It didn't do that in America, but in England, Chris Barber, who was a trad band leader, but also played bass, Lonnie Donegan, who was his banjo player, but also played guitar, and was a fanatical, he was a Lonnie Johnson enthusiast, but was also a Leadbelly enthusiast, and the washboard player, Beryl Bryden. The three of them did a record of a Leadbelly song called the Rock Island Line. And for some reason, this old sort of folk song, tearaway folk song, got to #1 in Great Britain. And all over Britain, 14-year-old boys got their parents to buy them cheap acoustic guitars. And they learned 3 chords so they could go, well, the Rock Island Line is a mighty fine line, the Rock Island Line is a road to ride. And we all did it. Hundreds of thousands of us, including Eric Clapton. And all of us.
I was gone from the first time I heard Muddy Waters' guitar. I heard him rehearsing in the City Hall in Newcastle on a summer's night. The doors were open to let air into the place. I was coming home from college, evening class, and I could hear this electric guitar echoing across the city center, and I go, whoa, what is that, you know? Until I heard John Lee Hooker singing things like, I've been working in a steel mill, trucking steel like a slave all day, you know. And I woke up this morning and my baby's gone away, you know. And I related to that directly because that was happening to people, to grown men on my block, on my street, you know. Suddenly there was people returning from Korea and finding out there was no jobs to be had, and the girlfriend had fled with somebody else, you know. I mean, these were real things that were happening around me, and yet here was this black guy from Detroit, Michigan, was putting it all into words.
Rhythm and blues, which was the basis of all English rock and roll in the 60s, really came out of a desperate search to associate yourself with the darkness and the existential bored feeling of the fact that the only thing certain in the future was death. We were driven as fans of that attitude to discover in the music of American rock and roll the pure, true angst and darkness of it all. And that was discovered in the origins of the blues. Robert Johnson became a mentor and a hero for all those groups of which I was an early and very young fan of, the Rolling Stones, the Pretty Things, the Yardbirds and so on. And that music was a bit like your Bible, it was like your history. If you didn't know that, you were nobody. If you didn't hang out on the underground holding an LP that portrayed Big Bill Broomsey or Sonny Boy Williamson or Muddy Waters or indeed Robert Johnson, who was much more difficult to get hold of because he had long since died. We're talking a man who lived in the 30s. Then you really weren't considered very hip.
And these people, man, I came down off this, we came down off the plane. I never forget this. Hit this big billboard with me and picture big as a house, man. I said, oh. I said, hey, look at that. Woof. Yeah, man. I know. I didn't know that. I didn't know, man, maybe these people is all right.